All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the official Trade Talk channel where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and highest probable entries so that way you guys can become better traders. What's going on? It is Tuesday, the 20th of June, and we are looking at Bitcoin. It is trying to break out, more than likely based on the Black Rock news, new spot Bitcoin ETF. There is somebody else that is also trying to get their hands on a Bitcoin spot ETF. And I can't remember exactly who it is. I think it's Fidelity. Yeah. All right, right here. So, boom. Fidelity Investments, they're trying to do a new spot Bitcoin ETF as well. Couple that together with some news that broke out this morning about, well, let's just show you right here. Breaking, the largest bank in Germany is adopting Bitcoin. Deutsche Bank, 1.4 trillion in assets. So a couple big companies looking at Bitcoin, and meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund, or whatever, the IMF, is literally trying to roll out their CBDC. So a lot of people are, that could potentially push people into putting some money into Bitcoin. I mean, who wants to be tracked or controlled as to what you can buy and what you cannot buy? That is not freedom. You have been allotted your one McDonald's trip for this week. That's kind of sort of what you might deal with a CBDC. They tell you where and when you can spend your money, and they know about it. So yeah, that would really, really suck. We're supposed to be able to spend the money the way we want. We work hard for it. It is ours, not yours. But the government's always trying to do stuff like that. So we shall see. As far as Bitcoin trading is concerned, we did break out above 2-week support. This was a very important level that actually held as support for a little bit, and then we broke down, and it was a pretty big breakdown. However, a lot of that was retraced. The BlackRock news came out at the low, and here we are. But as you can see, as far as the ranges go, as far as your candlesticks go, this could be a pullback to resistance, and it could literally drop. So if you are looking for shorts, 27,122 is a price that would be a good area to look for shorts. And if you are looking for longs, then obviously 26,336 is where you want to look if it breaks back down. We are currently, however, retesting the daily open. This is today's range. You can see how it hit that 2-week resistance and has dropped. If we look at this intraday, you can see just how pretty it was. Hit that, traded sideways for a little bit, dropped back down to that 2-week support level. It is such an important level. We definitely need some weekly, at least a weekly closure back above that. So, we've already ripped to the upside, and you are at like the top of the descending channel, if you will. It's not a perfect touch. On the daily, you can see that it's quite far away from current price, but for some reason on the weekly time frame, you're all up in it. Don't ask me why this wick sticks above the line on the weekly time frame and it does not on the daily. And it does not matter if I'm on log or off log. So essentially, long positions are looking at this morning at the daily open. Here we were, breakout above on the hourly time frame, a retest of it. It held, and now we are currently pushing. So targets were already made this morning in the Discord. A couple people were watching it right in here to get long, and this was their profit target because this is the last up closing hourly intraday candle. So that is your resistance. If I bring this line up here right there, you can see where it was tagged. So getting long from here, taking profits there, that was a profitable trade and a high probable trade. The reason it's high probable is because the range is this. This is your range currently. So as of right now, price is struggling to go higher, but the market is, well, it's now open. So we shall see what's going on. I did take a long position at the daily open on the coin M margin futures product, which is just the inverse swap perpetual contract. and I also shorted it on the Tether side of the platform. All right, so the Tether side of the platform, the short is at $27,000, right under it. It's right here at this area. This is where I took the short. So my profit target area on that position will absolutely be 2 week support if it gets down there. However, I'm more than expecting or hoping actually that the long works out, because I would much rather be long. The reason is because there's an infinite amount of, up you can go. Whereas if you are short, you can only make 100%. Obviously, with leverage, you can make more than 100%, but you can only make 100% on a short. That's why shorts are more risky than longs. Longs are infinite. Price can just continuously go up. And with all this good news that we've had, you would assume that price would go up, but it does look like it is being sold into. Remember, guys, I told you this a long time ago. There is a ton of supply sitting above $28,000 because price has not been able to get anything going above that level. It is a big figure number, 28K, as we have tested 27,000 this morning. Just it's not having the reaction we would like. Now, yesterday was a nice close, even though it was Sunday. It was a nice close. It closed back above 2 week support. But if you look here, this is what you're into. So this was the close. It tested it, closed, open Monday. You're up in here, right? But if you look at the daily, it looks like you closed above this. You did not. This is your weekly close right here. This is a 1 week time frame. So last week tested 2 week support and fell. So last week it acted as resistance. However, Tuesday morning, here we are pushing up. Now, as you can see, that is also this week's close. And on the 2 week time frame, it is week or 2 week resistance. So this has a really good, a really high probable chance of rolling over. The reason I say that is simple, because you're trading inside of the last 2 week sessions range. You're 12 days into it, and the first few days of this opening moves to the upside into resistance. I don't like that. What I would much rather have seen was the open push down the first few days of the range and then get back above the open, as that would look more prone to be bullish. Now, that does not work 100% of the time. So just because here we are making a high on the week on a Tuesday, potentially made the high of the week, it does not mean that it will later on down the road. All right. It's a probabilities thing. It's a higher probability that we will end up pushing lower, but it's only like 60-40. So there is a chance, obviously, that it could push higher. So that's the reason I took the short. The short is still it's still good. I have my stop loss setting at break even. So moving forward into today, what should you be looking for if you are looking for longs on Bitcoin? Well, you don't really want to see 4-hour closures under this line right there. As you can see on the 4 week time frame, here is when you closed above it. You have not been able to close back under it on a 4 week time. So basically what you would want to see is not weeks, hours. My bad, 4 hour time frame. You do not want to see it close below the 2 week support, 4 hour, right? Because then obviously people will look to start shorting into any pops, which I have done. As I tell everybody that's, comes to the channel and listens to me and everything, when you're in a trend, you typically want to stay on the side of the trend until you at least get a breakout. You can clearly see that we've been trending lower. It's not hugely bearish, but nonetheless, it is still trending lower. And this is a pop in price in a downtrend. So sellers will be interested in taking that as a sell side entry. Because if you get a much deeper correction or whatever you want to call this, you can see how big the range is. 27 to 24K. That's not bad. Not bad. That's a $3,000 move. So we'll see how Bitcoin plays this out. I would love to see it break out, start finding supports and moving higher from those supports, as we have gotten such good news you would want to see that. But we have seen in the past that good news gets sold into occasionally. So we'll see how it works out moving forward. Right now, you can see on the 4-hour time frame, you are testing support on the 4-hour. That would be your support right there. Wicks below do not matter. It's the closes that are important. On your hourly time frame, your support is the 2-week support. This is the daily open right there. So you can see that right here on this candle. Nope, this candle. This candle's open is the daily open. So you can draw a line right there if you wish. You can see that you are pushing back under it right now. So yeah, little bit of trouble it is having getting above that. You are bullish today on the dollar, but you know, we're not really expecting the dollar to be bullish very long. We are expecting it to roll over, and that would absolutely help if the dollar were to roll over. Obviously that would help Bitcoin. So we know that the dollar this weekend when I did the members only live stream, we know that the dollar's low of the year was put in on the very same day that Bitcoin's high of the year was put in. So it's not trading 100% inversely correlated, but it is still a little bit correlated. We know that the dollar can be bearish for many, many days, like even a couple of 3-4 weeks before Bitcoin actually starts to get bullish. But you definitely still have the lawsuit against Coinbase going on. So that's, as long as that's out there looming, I don't think people are going to feel so safe about investing in Bitcoin. However, I am still holding all of my spot Bitcoin. I am not selling yet. I will let you guys know if I do decide to sell, how much of it I sell or whatnot. Now, the link for the Bitget exchange, obviously, if you're in America, you're not going to be able to participate, but there is a link if you do want to trade on Bitget. It has the cheapest fees out of all the other exchanges, basically. And I still like their fills. They have good fills. They have the inverse swap contract, so you can trade with Bitcoin. You don't have to put any money on the exchange. No KYC and all that good stuff, but it is not for Americans anymore. If you did use that link and you are in America, you need to PM me or something, some way, get a hold of me and give me your user ID number and we'll get you on a whitelist so you don't lose your funds, or I don't know, maybe you'll still be able to trade. Like I said, it's an exchange, it's offshore. So I don't put 100% complete and total trust in any crypto exchanges ever. So only keep amount of money on the exchange that you are willing to lose. All right, that's very important, because if you log on to the website tomorrow and you can't get access to it, whatever funds you have over there will be gone. And that's with any exchange, any exchange, right? So let's see how this works going forward. I would love for the US to make an exchange and allow futures to be traded, because it is a fantastic hedging. That's what futures were essentially designed for, right? You can get long a product and you can also short the same product on the futures. So that way you can hedge any downside risk. That is essentially what I've been doing by trading Bitcoin. I'm just hedging my downside. And the hedging is actually working better than just setting long Bitcoin, because I'm actually accumulating more Bitcoin as I go along. So that's why I love that product. All right, so there's the daily. You can see that it today is trading back up after having a fantastic down day on Thursday. That was after the news. Last week we had CPI on Tuesday, which was this day right there. Then we had the FOMC, who everybody knows paused interest rates but was still hawkish, saying, and on if you read the dot plot matrix, they are expecting to do more hikes this year. However, the market is not trading it as that's going to be the case. The market is actually trading like they don't think that they're going to be able to hike anymore. But the market's the market, right? It could go one way for a very long time and then switch directions immediately and drop out of sight. But you are trading at quarterly support, and this quarter's open. You can see you got 10 days left on Q2, right? 10 days. And then we will be into Q3 of 2023. So half the year will be over. and we will be moving forward. But you're going to see right there, that is nice. I like the fact that it traded inside of last quarter's range with, it did take out the low, but it did not get anywhere near taking out the high, which is very important moving forward. And I love the fact that it's trading at the open. So what I would love to see, obviously, is this thing close bearish. That would be fantastic. That would be another quarterly low close. And then we would be looking for the third quarter to continue downside. And if that does happen, if it ends up being the case, then obviously we would want to see Bitcoin get some bullishness. If we go over here to Glassnode and we pull up the accumulation trend score, there is not much accumulation happening. Here we are. Let me make sure that we are all the way over down there. We are. So not a lot of accumulation happening. There was hardly any accumulation happening over here, but a lot of accumulation happened there. So as of right now, majority of this accumulation is underwater. All right. So that has me very cautious, if you will, because as long as these people are underwater, there is a good chance that they could sell when price gets back up to the price at which they bought. However, if these are long-term hodlers, like if these people down here are long-term hodlers, then maybe they won't sell. But there's always that risk that they could sell. So Bitcoin's just literally trading sideways to down. The dollar's yearly range, you can see you're more down than you are up. But it is a small range compared to last year's range. So that's sideways, right? That's what a sideways market looks like. It's very small. The range is small compared to its previous range. So there's 2022 open. You can see it was straight up. So 2023 is opened lower and you've been trading sideways. So what we want to see is we want to see this break down, make a fresh yearly low, as I think that would bring a lot more selling in the dollar if we do make a fresh yearly low, because people will just be like, well, looks like it's going to head lower for the rest of the year. I'm out. That's what we want. All right. As far as assets that we are looking at for potential trades on Canadian Swiss and USD Swiss, because this week we have the SNB, which is a Swiss national bank. They are expected to rate hike 50 basis points. So what we are looking at here is a potential move higher on the Swissy. You can see that last week it had a pretty damn good move to the upside. This could be the market pricing in that rate hike. All right. We never know how far ahead of time the market prices in, but this could be it. Literally could have been that. We could see it pull back for the rest of, or at least until Thursday. Thursday's when the rate hike will happen, and we will want to see that move up. Now, if we compare the Swiss franc with a weaker asset, right? Obviously, these will change moving forward. Right now, the New Zealand is the weakest asset on the day. So New Zealand Swissy, shorts, right? So let's go ahead and pull up New Zealand Swissy. I got my eye on Canadian dollar because energy is lower. So NZDCHF, you can see that the trend is down on the year. There's your yearly open and you're just moving lower. So I don't really like to see this. Like I said, same scenario. I don't like to see the first 2 days of the week moving lower. But it doesn't always work, right? It doesn't always work. I've seen weeks open lower and continue all week. And it could happen here. But if we are going to get Swissy strength, we want to look for areas of which we could participate in potential shorts. But you want to short the base currency, not the quote currency. We want the Swiss franc to be the quote currency. So I'm watching CAD Swiss for potential shorts. Let me go back over here. No. Right there. So CAD Swiss into a ton of resistance. 2023's yearly open. You got 3-day resistance right here, right now. And it does appear to be holding, right? Here on the hourly. So I'm looking for this to go lower. So at least a test of 2-week resistance. That's what I see in the future for Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. All right. 3-day resistance 0.67970. This is on Forex.com. I don't know what if you're trading on Oanda, it's a little bit different, but not much. Let's go see right here. So, all right. See how beautiful these ranges work, right? So this was, let's get rid of the April open. This was the 3-day support right here. So this 3-day session opens, trades just lower than that, and then bullish expansion. Then the next 3-day session opens, trades a little bit higher, and then pushes all the way back down to support. So what am I looking for here? Here's the open, push up, tag that as resistance. If resistance holds, then this is my target to the downside. All right, 67,310. That would be my bearish target. A 3-day close above 67,988 means you got to leave it alone. This day will close tomorrow. All right, at the end of the day tomorrow, this will be closing, so it'll be important. A close under 67,988, and the short is still in. All right, it's still good. Here's your yearly range, open, yearly high. Immediately it drops below, sets a fresh yearly low, and you're pulling back. All right, so what we're expecting here is for this to roll over, continue to the downside, just for this year, not based on last year, only this year. Now, if we get above the yearly open, that's going to change things, right? The Aussie dollar did the same thing, broke out above, but it does look like, as of right now, it's trying to turn that into a trap. So if we take out that 3-day low, it's going to look like a trap. All right, but there is an area of potential support here, as it is weekly resistance, the old weekly resistance level. There's the breakout. So if this is going to continue to trade higher than the yearly open, this is where we want to see it hold. We do not want to see it take out this low down here, because then this will be a trap, and then we will, well, it doesn't matter what it does, right? We can trade it no matter what it does. If you're bullish on it, you don't want it to go any lower than that. But if you're not in an entry currently, then if it does close lower than that this week, we will be looking for shorts on a retest of 68,181. That's Aussie dollar. We would like to see the Aussie dollar remain bullish on the year, because the Aussie and New Zealand currencies are what is, risk on, risk off. So they are risk on assets. So whenever they are bullish, that means that overall the market's risk assets could sustain a bullish posturing. All right, so let's go back to Bitcoin, because it is just playing around the daily open, as we did get another pop to the upside here. So big down 5-minute candle, trades right back down to the open, gets a bullish pop. So you can see a little bit of playing around going on here. Like I said, I took the long on the inverse swap contract at the open. So my stop is just a little bit lower than this swing low. I'm not going to play around with it, because I don't like to buy when the asset's pretty much overbought. It's not overbought on the daily, right? The daily is still good. The daily, in fact, is showing us on the RSI that it does want to remain bullish. So a pullback into the 50 would be an opportunistic area, as long as it lines up with a real price point, right? We don't want to just get long on a 50 test. We want there to be an actual old support, or an old resistance level there. So if that occurs, that'll be a spot to look for longs, because then if you get bullish momentum, it's hard to say how far it'll go to the upside. But typically, I do like to be more on the bullish side when we are trading above the 50, because basically the way that I view that on the daily time frame only is that, the bulls are trying to regain control of the asset, as this over here was a trap, right? This was a trap, and then you had the SEC suit come out. So basically what we want to see Bitcoin do is break out of this descending wedge, right? That's what we want to see it do. And typically those are patterns that pattern traders look for, bullish breakouts. But we have seen descending wedges continue to the downside. So, but it isn't broken out to the downside or the upside. So you're still just clearly trading in a range. So it's going to be up to you, right? Your bias. What do you think is going to happen? You think Bitcoin is going to roll over, or do you think Bitcoin is going to move higher? That's up to you. I think Bitcoin over the long term will go higher, but I trade the chart in front of me. And the chart in front of me right now is still structured bearishly. But yesterday we did regain the 50. So is this going to be a daily bull trap? Typically, I don't look for that to happen, especially when the next day makes a higher high, but it can. So the daily support price, which is also the weekly open, is 26,336.46. That's as low as I would want to see price go. A retest of a weekly open, and you would want to see that area hold for bullishness. If you break down below that, obviously it's going to head back to the downside, and that short position of mine will be in the right area. So one of the trades are going to get stopped out, or potentially both of them will get stopped out. It can happen, right? It can happen. You can have intraday volatility and take out both positions and then move forward. But it's just in an area where I have to look at it still as a bearish trade, because this could be a trap. And since it happened on a Sunday, well, it happened on a Monday, my bad. It happened yesterday. But yesterday was a non-trading day. Yesterday was a holiday. So it's basically like weekend trading, right? America wasn't trading yesterday. So yeah, got some intraday volatility going on. The S&P 500 is down 0.3% on the day, which isn't a bad down move. But you can see that you're having difficulty remaining above the 702 retracement. That is of the bear market of 2022. So it's from the all-time high to the bear market low. That is where I pulled that fib from, all-time high, bear market low. What we want to see is we want to see it continue to break out here, but seeing how it was overbought on the daily, we are looking for a pullback. You did hit overbought on the weekly as well. So we do want to see it pull back. Obviously on the year, it is bullish, not bearish. So typically you want to stay with the trend. So the long trade was just stopped out. Bitcoin did move a little bit lower. The short trade is still open. So we'll see what happens here, but a pullback on S&P 500, a pullback on the NASDAQ is what we are expecting. Look at how overbought you've been on the NASDAQ since basically May the 18th. You've been overbought on the NASDAQ. So we are looking for a pullback. We're not looking to short it. We're just looking for a pullback into support so we can buy it. All right, Bitcoin is dropping here pretty good on the 5-minute time frame. So there you are, short entry here. Nice. This is the area at which I would be taking profits. And it did tag the 2-week support on the Bitget, platform. So that is where my profit target was setting. So obviously took profits, stop is setting to break even. So we'll see how that plays out moving forward. But I still love this area. I want it to hold here because I hold so much spot Bitcoin. I don't want it to go lower. I want it to go higher, right? I want it to go higher. Good mornings, good mornings, good mornings. Nice little hand. Nice little handle. Don't know what that means. Good morning, future legends, says Cassidy. Good morning. Good morning. Back in the swing of it. Swing? Yeah. Hello. Hello. Hellos. Euro USD, not able to get into a position on it yet. It needs to pull back because it did have such a good week last week. This is where we were looking for the buy opportunity. Unfortunately, I was stopped out, but hopefully some people were able to get long and not stopped out on this, because I think you're going to be just fine. Last 3 days have been bearish, but look at them, right? They're just tiny bearish days. So that would indicate that we would be looking for more upside. So we'll see where today closes, and where it closes. If it closes lower than yesterday, then we'll look at that area as potential support tomorrow. So basically, I like to watch the euro, and it is structured more bullish than bearish. There's your low, there's your high. So, and you're trading above the open. You are bullish on the year, which is good. Bitcoin's bullish on the year as well. And I occasionally like to look at these two assets because basically they don't trade perfectly together. But if the euro is bullish, and typically the Bitcoin will be bullish. If the euro is bearish, typically Bitcoin becomes bearish, right? It's because it's trading versus the dollar. We know Bitcoin does its own thing, but as long as Euro USD is up on the year, I like Bitcoin's chances to be remaining bullish. Bitcoin's got to get all the way down to, like, what was it, 27? I mean 17, sorry, not 27. 17K is where we basically opened the year at, under 17K. I don't want to see Bitcoin get back down there. I'm not going to say that the lows are in because we just don't know. There's too many factors still out there that's for, the bearish side, especially the inversions of the yield curves, but we have had a lot of bullish news for Bitcoin, so we should see it start to move higher. I would like it to break out this week. All right. That's pretty much all I got. I mean, the areas to watch for support, right? You're testing the 2-week support now, and then ultimately that last area, which would be the weekly open. That would be where I would look to be a buyer. 26,336 if it gets back down there, but we do want to see this area hold, which is 26,752. This is the area we want it to hold. We want to see a bullish expansion from here, and a breakout would be fantastic. Any questions? Any assets you guys want me to look at? People are looking at Tesla. Tesla is massively overbought. It's continuing to go higher. It is big time overbought. Ooh, is that a new thing? Look at, there's a shade of red there and a shade of green. I haven't never seen that before. That must be new. Well, anyways, it is massively overbought. Please do not buy Tesla up here. Wait for a pullback to support. Current support areas on Tesla, there isn't any. It has simply just been moving straight up for this entire month. No pullback at all on it, hardly, for June. May was the opportunity to buy because May was into support. So unfortunately, you need to wait for a support to be formed before you can even look to be a buyer. You can look at old support levels, like there, for instance. That could be an opportunistic area to watch. 216.76. If you get a pullback to there, maybe that would be a spot to look. It is an old support, so. But you can see that it did act as resistance once you broke down. So there was the breakdown, resistance, and then you dropped. Came back into it for the first tag. That was resistance. So moving forward, that's where I'd want to see it hold. You can get a wick under it, so don't buy it on the first test. Wait until you start closing dailies back above it. On Tesla. So Tesla's got to pull back. It's got to pull back quite a bit before we can look to be buyers of it on the near term. Let's see here. Thank you. Might be slightly early on AAP. Yeah, I like AAP long term. long term, right? It's a management problem, is what it is. That is a support area right there. You can see that it did hit it and roll back over. It could go lower, but if you look at it, like, that was a massive drop. It's a big gap. It's a big gap. So maybe it makes a fresh low down here at 63 bucks and then goes, but I think anywhere under 71.33 is decent to buy. Don't buy it with leverage. It's an investment. So you buy it and you hold on to it, however many shares you buy. If you get under like 5% on the position, then close it. I wouldn't even let it get that low. If you're only buying a few shares, then don't even worry about it, right? It to me, it matters how much money you're investing in it. They obviously have something bad is going on. But I don't think, since it is a publicly traded company, you know that the shareholders, the big guys, the ones that own most of the company, they're not going to like the fact that their stock has dropped from $240 all the way down to 68 bucks. So they will make a change. If it's a managerial position, if it's something to do with that, like bad managing, that will get changed. It is a good business model. So, I mean, all the other American auto part companies are trading at their highs. So that tells you right there, if, O'Reilly is trading up at the highs, AutoZone trading up at the highs, and then obviously Advanced Auto Parts getting crushed. So unless there's like faulty business practices going on there, then I wouldn't be concerned about it. I have heard other people that are not, they're not shareholders or anything. They're just, normal hedge fund owners say that they do like Advanced Auto Parts down here, as it is the cheapest that it has been for, well, since October 2012, right? That's a long time ago. Long time ago. So I do like it for a longer term buy and hold, but no leverage, just a buy and hold investment. All the other things, the Chewy is another one that I like. As long as it keeps trading above 37.97, I like it. Longer term, like I said, they make money. That's a good company. When a company makes money, that's what you want to invest in, a company that makes money. Now, if you invest in like startups or Neo, for instance, they don't make money, right? Yet. They don't make money yet, but we want to see this change. Once it starts changing and starts getting more positive, then you could look to be an investor in Neo. But as long as they're not making money, it's going to be hard for me to see it go higher. Whereas if you look at Chewy, they make money, right? Their income is positive, $52.9 million. So they make money, right? This can't be right. I can't see that 1,000% being right. However, I like where it is based on technicals, not fundamentals. Fundamentally, the company is strong and it makes money. The reason it's seen a massive decline, in my opinion, is based on the pandemic, right? It got a nice push higher because so many people had to order their pet foods from Chewy because they weren't allowed to go out, right? I wasn't allowed to go out. So I think it's in price discovery right now. But like I said, as long as it's trading above its yearly opening range, which it is now, see, on earnings, you had a gap up and boom, you're back above it. So as long as you're trading above it, I like it higher. And it's a cheap stock too. It's 37 bucks. So you can buy several shares of it and just wait, hold on to it. If you make a fresh yearly low, I would probably drop it and just wait until next year to buy it. because if it does make a fresh yearly low, then that's going to be more than likely the rest of the markets are going to start rolling over as well. It's a good company. I like it. I like it. But yeah, you might be a little bit early on Advanced Auto Parts. But just picture yourself if you were like on the board, right? You were such a big shareholder that you were on the board of Advanced Auto Parts. I think you would move to fix whatever is the problem, because those people have billions of dollars in that stock and they have lost a lot of money. So they are going to fix the problem. Whoever has ran this stock into the ground, I mean, they make money. 404, that's a $500 million. They make money. Obviously, this is the price drop has caused all this negativity, but PE's 10.31. It's still, I like it. I think it's going to go higher. I think this is a pullback. And anytime you get a pullback in big stocks like that, those are the opportunities to buy. If they make money. If they don't make money and you get pullbacks like that, you don't want to buy them. Thanks for your thoughts. Did you look at Ethereum? No, but I am in the same boat. I think pretty much whatever Bitcoin does, Ethereum is going to do, right? They're the two biggest crypto assets. Their price action looks slightly the same, not exactly the same, obviously. From yearly open to the yearly high on Ethereum, you got up to 78%, right around 78, 79%. So you did get a higher push than Bitcoin did. But I mean, it's trading almost exactly like Bitcoin, right? You're in a descending sort of wedge-like pattern. But you're at an area of potential resistance. So it could end up being support, right? Old resistance can act as support. So we'll see what happens with it. The price that I'm thinking is 1680.23. That's an old resistance area. So here's the breakout. There was a retest of it. So if it doesn't hold here, then maybe next week it closes lower or something. Wait to see if it comes back. If we put the moving averages and stuff on, you can see that it's gobbledygook, right? It's gobbledygook. It is trading above both the 200 simple and the 200 exponential on the weekly time frame. On the daily time frame, it is trying to hold the 200 exponential after losing it. So we'll see what happens there. I don't buy based on moving averages. It looks like it's trying to change its structure, but that's just on the near term. We've seen stuff do this a lot. It's still structured bullish because you're still well above the early opening range. It's going to take a while for those moving averages to get more bullish structured. And then here on Bitcoin, it's kind of the same on the daily, but not really. Your 50 did get above the 21, and you're like right now, the 21 on the daily and the 100 is basically the same price. So we shall see. It could be pulling back because of the 50. We don't want to see it lose the daily 21. That's the main indicator that I watch for near-term trend. As long as you're above that, I like it. And then on the weekly, same scenario. As long as you're above this, I like it. I like it higher, longer term. But if we lose this, then I don't like it. So like, to me, this price action just looks like a very long, slow pullback. Price is elastic. When you get very far away from the moving averages, it will come back. That's how price moves. But on the weekly time frame, it looks bad because you did break support on this week. So we definitely need a bullish 2-week close above the last bullish 2-week candle. So that would be here. So that a close above that would be, it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be a breakout because obviously this is the main resistance up here, 28.5. But it would look better on the near term. It would look better. So definitely need to see it get higher. You're kind of testing. The SEC came out with the bad news on this day right there. So you can see that you tested that price today. Tested it today. So we definitely want to see dailies closing above that to see bullish continuation. All right. Ray, USD/JPY. Now here's the thing on the USD/JPY front. The BOJ decided they're not going to do anything, which was a shock to many of us, me included, right? We expected, since the Nikkei was doing so good, that the BOJ would tighten monetary policy, maybe even start buying back into their bonds to put a support under the Japanese yen. It did not happen. They're not doing anything. So therefore, we're going to expect more Japanese yen weakness. So even if the dollar is weak, if the yen is weaker, this asset will move up. It will move up. So everywhere that I have wanted to see it roll over, it has not. It has not rolled over. So I am probably going to close the biggest portion of that trade. I'll still leave a little piece on because I'm short from up there. So, I mean, I still have plenty of room, but I don't like the fact that it's structured this bullish, especially since the dollar is structured bearish. So if the dollar is structured bearish, then I would want to see this structured bearish. It's just not the case. Now, would I buy it based on Japanese yen weakness alone? No, I think there are other assets that you could do that with instead of the dollar. You would want to do it versus strong asset like Aussie yen, for instance. If you want to look to own it based on yen weakness. But here it is. I mean, that looks bad. It was trading inside of a range here until we got the BOJ news. Boom, right back down to support. This is just a pullback. Like, eventually I expect this to break down. Down here is like basically where I got long, right? Right there. So the correction is a little bit deeper than I expected, is all. But that's going to be based on, like I said, BOJ. They're not doing anything to help their currency at this price. Will they intervene again down here like they did here? It is possible, but I'm in, like, I don't want to lose the P&L that I currently hold. It's getting smaller and smaller by the day because the USD/JPY is just continuing to melt up, even though the dollar is weak. It's based solely on yen weakness. So I don't know what to tell you on this. It's structured bullish. Look for support. Get long, I guess. I think it could, ultimately roll back over. Me and Barclays pretty much had the same target. My target, I had the lower target on the USD/JPY long before Barclays came out with their target, but this is their target right here. So it could ultimately roll over, but that means that the dollar literally would start to need to melt. The dollar would literally need to be weaker than the Japanese yen for this to go lower. And it hasn't been the case like all year. There for a little while, it looked like it was going to continue lower, but Japanese yen weakness. That's the story on this one. All right. I thought the auto parts was the inflation play. If there was another oil crisis, gas be 10 USD, EVs go crazy. EVs don't need 95% of parts. Obviously, man. Yeah. If management is messed up and board not watching, I'd run. The board is watching, I promise. Pretend that you're sitting on the board. And the whole EV thing is still like not even a small percentage of owned vehicles in the US are not EV. Like, it's such a small percentage right now. Obviously, when the EVs are like 50% of the vehicles on the road in America, then yeah, auto part plays aren't the thing to do. You know what I mean? But you're a long time before that happens. A long time. Still a lot of gas vehicles on the road, and they need parts. So it's a managerial position. It's a managerial thing. It has to be. They make money, so you know. Until Mark Code starts to sell it or look for shorts, then I like it. He's a big short seller. If he comes out with like a reason of why not to invest in AAP, then drop it. It's just my advice, right? That's it. You don't have to take it. I bought space at $10. I'm not always right? So just because I think it's a good buy doesn't mean that it will end up being a good buy. I can't see into the future. Space is trading a 50% loss. At a 50% loss. My space position. So I'm not always right. I thought $10 is where it would find support. It didn't. It obviously got killed. And the reason being is simple. There's probably not a lot of billionaires signing up for flights to space right now. Those trips are very expensive. 362, yeah, I like it there. So if it gets back down there, I'll buy it just to shore my position up a little bit better. So yeah, if you don't want to buy AAP, don't buy it. If you think any reason why you don't want to buy it is good enough reason to not buy it, it's your money. It's always your money, guys. I'll give you my opinion on what I think, and like I said, until Heisenberg Research or whatever, the short selling research company that brings out a terrible report on advanced auto parts, on something like that, then leave it alone. But as of right now, I haven't seen any short sell research people come out and say advanced auto parts is a terrible company. It's just a bad drop. But like I said, you're trading at 10-year lows. Lower than 10-year lows. There's November 12th. The last time you were trading here. November 2012. So the chart still looks good. It's a pullback and it's a deep one. But those are the assets that you want to buy. You don't want to buy shit that's already trading at the yearly highs. Things that are making fresh yearly highs. You should have bought them at the beginning of the year. Good morning, pound, yen. Yeah, pound's been strong, so since the pound has been strong and the yen has been weak, it's literally mooning on the year. Looks good. Yeah. There you are on the quarter. You're coming into some substantial resistance. Old monthly support. So I expect it to pull back. It's been running hot. But like I said, it's just based on yen weakness. So you're overbought. You're overbought on the weekly. That means you're going to be overbought on the 3-day, overbought on the daily, but pulling back, losing some of that momentum. I'd say you could pull back all the way to 174, 621, and then potentially look to be a buyer down in that area. So it held for many days, right? And then gone. So if it comes back to this region, in this area, I would probably be looking for longs, but that, just watch this, right? Let it pull back. It's too over. But at the same time, I wouldn't short it either. You know what I mean? Because when things are running hot, they can pull back for a day and then blast off again. Bitcoin's dropping down 0.5%, so 0.5%, which ain't anything really. But you are losing that 2-week support. Made a fresh daily low. Right there was the low of the day. So maybe perhaps it goes up now. Perhaps it don't. This was the low of day. If you want to take your chances and buy it, you could. But just make sure you set your risk a decent way away from that. So don't be risking 125x on this purchase, because there's obviously clear resistance up there. Yesterday, I actually thought it was going to roll over when it was down here, but it broke out very briefly. It broke out. So let me check that short position. It's looking good now. On the 5-minute. Like, essentially, that is not the daily open. That is intraday resistance. The daily open is right there. That's your daily open. So you lost it. You're probably not going to take out yesterday's low. Yesterday's low is all the way back down to the weekly open. If you do take out yesterday's low, then that's going to be a trap. But you did take out today's low, as today's low is right there. But yeah, not looking great. It's an hour into the market open. Maybe it goes higher from there. I don't know. You could watch it. If you keep closing lower 5-minute candles, then obviously you don't want to buy it. If it is going to go higher based on just liquidation of today's low, retesting Saturday's high, then you would want to see it hold as support here. 26684. All right. NZD CAD's coming off pretty hard today, almost 0.6%. So all the gains that it had is getting taken away hard. This thing's been in a multi-year downtrend. US 30 had a nice pop up, but then is being sold off. Looks very similar to Bitcoin. US 100 pulling back just a little bit. Nothing major, but it could continue for multiple days. I mean, this thing is well over 20% off the lows, which I don't technically, technically you'll hear the talking heads say that you're in a bullish market when you're above 20% off the lows. I mean, this thing's 44% off the lows. 44%. Just imagine all the bears that are still saying that this is going to roll over. If they're still bearish and have been bearish all year, you got to ask yourself, how much money have they lost shorting? They had to short it there. They lost. They probably shorted there, which was a good short. Upon liquidation of that wick, that was a good short. That short lasted for days. But then eventually they got stopped out. It's just they've been on the wrong side of the market the whole entire year. That's why I say trade price, not your bias. Trade what price is doing. Price is bullish. Be bullish. Now this one right here has had a difficult time remaining bullish. It's been bearish as about as long as it's been bullish. It's very sideways. Notice of service termination. The provider discontinued service support effective January the 17th, 2023. Data on currency.com charts will not be updated any further. All right, well, let's look at Black Bull then. Yeah, it's pulling back. I need to get rid of this one and add this one. All right. No, I won't hear that or read that anymore. So, I mean, that's your yearly opening range. If it stays above that, if you get a retest of it, could be a buying opportunity. You got daily support coming in right above that at 33,562. But like I said, it's struggling. The reason is because this asset has a lot more small caps in it. Like if you look at the rut as well, has struggled. I mean, that's your yearly high, yearly low. So you are pushing up. So this is good news. If this and the US 30 start trending higher, then that means the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ will likely make fresh all-time highs. I'm not saying that it'll happen this year, though. We're halfway through the year. We'll see. Almost halfway through the year. Got a couple more days, 10 days. All right, no other questions? If there ain't any other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I like USD CAD lower. It broke out of a multi-month support. Right there's multi-month support. Support was created on the yearly open, right? You pushed up higher, then you closed lower. So that was the monthly support. You can see that it held as support on this month, and that month. We are currently trying to break down. 10 days left. I definitely want to see this thing close lower than 1336064. One spot, 33064. That is monthly support. A close below that would look fantastic for lower prices. However, structurally, if you're looking at multi-year trend, then obviously you're up. But for 2023, you're down. Right? And we like to stick with the near-term trend, not the old trends. Especially in currencies, because currencies are well known to trade up and down. Like since 2015, this thing has been in a multi-year range. And you're basically trading in the middle of that larger range. Just above where it opened. Started trading. But yeah, near term, I like USD CAD lower. It had a really big down move the last few days. So got above the early opening range and it failed. And it did not do a liquidation run either. So that's what I'm trying to say. That is monthly resistance. So the same candle basically that put in support. You got resistance. That was a fantastic shorting opportunity. Whether you got it there or there, you were good. So, yeah. We'll see if it finds resistance and rolls back over. We'll watch the price 1.33064 as that is a supply zone. Pound dollar's pulling back, but it's been bullish. Obviously, it's more bullish than the Euro USD is. So if you think you're going to continue to see dollar weakness, then maybe this asset would be one that I would like higher. It's overall bearish for its entirety. Let's see if something else has more data. FXCM usually has more data, but even the old data, it's just always lower. So you took out the all-time low and bounced. That's why you don't, breakout trading's terrible. We took out the all-time low, let's get bearish. Wrong. These things trade back and forth more than they trend. We'll see what it does. I mean, you got 2-week resistance right there. 1.26304 on the pound dollar. Let's see if that area can act as resist or support. Damn, it broke out yesterday. So probably not. No, it wasn't yesterday. That was a 3-day time frame. My bad. Yeah, we'll see what it does there. All right, no other questions. Still pound yen. We did pound yen. Nothing else. The VIX is up 2.8% because it's at multi-year lows. All right. I mean, you're at prices you haven't seen since before the pandemic, which is phenomenal. That's what you want to see for price to continue to go up on the S&P 500. So just think about all those people that were buying calls. They literally lost their money, but I would say it was more of a hedge than anything. So it's good to lose on the hedge. You don't want to lose on the main position. You always would rather take a loss on the hedge. But the hedge has not worked. It has not worked. All of 2022, that was the bear market, and it's still just this. They weren't buying this. They were buying the dollar. Bring up auto thing again. Investors like sexy things with the new narrative. Tesla and that have buzz. People saw camera phones destroy Kodak. Europe and LA EV hotcakes. Like I said, bro, you don't have to buy it. But I can promise you one thing. If you don't buy it and it 3-4x's from here, you know what I'm saying? That's just the way investing is. People let their biases, like you obviously have a very strong bias that EVs are going to be the thing. And I have no doubt that in 15 or 20 years, you may be right. Right? I understand that Tesla is trading at way above where it should be because it's more of a tech and AI play than it is a car play. Okay? Look at GM stock, look at Ford stock. That's basically where Tesla would be trading, but it is sexy because it's new and it's trading like a tech stock. But at the same time, if you are right, then why are the other two auto parts stores trading at all-time highs? Just ask yourself that question. If you are right, then all the auto parts store stocks should look like Advanced Auto. They should, if you are correct. But the reality is they ain't, dude. They're trading at all-time highs. Just under all-time highs. AutoZone, O'Reilly, all-time highs. Now, I wouldn't say buy either one of these two stocks for an auto parts play. Advanced Auto Parts looks sexier to me because it's dropped, 70, 80%. So just remember, like, I'm not yelling at you or anything. I get a little emotional, that's all. Just remember, 71% you've lost on this asset. In a short, 2 years. All right, 2 years. It's been trending to the downside. Take the 2022 bear market as part of it. So at the beginning of the year, this stock did not get a bounce. In fact, it dropped heavily and continued lower. The managerial garbage. But look where it's got to go just to double, right? Right there, 137, and you're double your investment, whatever you put into it. That is if it goes up there, of course. But I'm just saying, it's a long time before Tesla is going to have, and also, like, to be honest with you, if that's what's going to happen, Tesla's going to, the stock's going to blow up because they're going to be like driverless taxis. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're looking for in the future. Driverless taxis. And if that takes out or that takes over, then yeah, it'll be cheaper to do that than it would be to buy a car and maintain the cost of owning a vehicle, insurance and all of that. But that's so far away. So far away. They can't even meet up with, they're losing demand in China. So, there's a lot of boomers still alive today that they're not going to buy an electric car. But that is, they're old. The millennials and the newer generations are going to want them because, like you said, it is new. It is sexy. It's the new thing. AI and stuff. You know what I'm saying? If I'm wrong on this stock, it'll be like one of the only ones other than space that I got wrong this year. Everything else, I told people to buy when it was down here. Nvidia, not because I knew the AI boom was going to happen or bubble, whatever you want to call it, but because Nvidia is a good company. They make money. They got absolutely slaughtered. So if you wanted to participate in Nvidia, when do you want to buy it? When it's at all-time highs or when it's had a 68% pullback? That's when you want to buy it. And then literally at the beginning of the year, straight up. I was right on that. I was wrong on Intel. It's just now starting to go. But the people that are missing the AI bubble are going to look elsewhere to participate in that, which is why I think Intel will ultimately trade higher than $27. Right? RK got killed. It's still same thing. You bought the yearly open, you'd be, higher by $10. All of your favorite stocks, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla. Yeah, you buy them things when they pull back. Now, if Advanced Auto Parts has shitty managers, and better yet, if they have a shitty board and they can't fix whatever problem, then that stock will continue to go down. That's just the reality of it. You can look it up, do your own diligence, find out if any short sellers are involved. As of right now, I don't know of any short sellers that are involved with Advanced Auto Parts. Microsoft, almost, or no, they did last week, fresh, all-time highs. Apple, fresh, all-time highs. AMD, up over 100% since the beginning of the year. Amazon, beginning of the year, up. Since they did the stock split, it's not as much as it would have been before the split, but this thing used to trade at $2,000. Salesforce, beginning of the year, up. Fiverr, not so much. Google, like, it's awesome. It's easy. All of those things. Those were the things that you want to buy. The money makers. Not Neo. Neo's not a money maker. Wait till it starts making money, or wait till it starts losing as much money as it's losing now. So this is also a Tesla play, right? Biggest automaker or biggest EV maker in China, Neo. But they operate at a loss. $2 billion. They're in the hole. So they need to make $2 billion before they become profitable. Now, this stock will go up a long time before they become profitable. Because people will watch. They'll watch their money. Are they making more money, or are they going backwards still? As long as they keep going backwards, I expect this to go lower. Once they start making headway, start making money, it'll be a good investment. And they have some nice cars. Their electric sports car is like one of the fastest cars in the world. But it comes at a hefty price, and it's not street legal. But it'll be, maybe one of these days, it'll be a good investment. All right. Nvidia, just straight up. What is that? 300%. It's too late now on a lot of these things to participate in. But a lot of people thought that I was wrong down there. So we'll see what happens. And welcome to retail level number 1, Mr. Martin. Thank you so much, my friend. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Bitcoin is bouncing so far. Once it made that fresh daily low, it is bouncing. So keep an eye on it. Why does that look like it's at the daily open on Bitget? It's not. All right, so yeah, that 2-week support is going to be a very big level for Bitcoin moving forward. And if it's going to go up, I would expect it to do so roughly around that region. So there's your fresh daily low. As you can see, it's getting a bounce. This is the price I like, but you have a new hourly support right there, which is roughly close to the 2-week support. So watch that level moving forward today, and you can throw your stop under the daily low. And if Bitcoin makes a move to the upside today or tomorrow and this low stays intact, you will be positioned for it. If you think it's going to go lower, this is the area that you're looking for sell, right? This is the short trade up in here moving forward. 27K is where my short side entry is. That long trade got stopped out. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.